Let's talk about some principles to make marketing more effective. The first one is this: have an attention grabber. Something that gets people to pay attention, to get past that quick look what it's about. And so felt needs, I mean, I could just tell you a couple felt. You talk about marriage, you talk about forgiveness. There's just some big felt needs out there that I guarantee you're going to get hit with. Now, some people have gone big on the sex series. Have you all done a big sex series?
We haven't done a series specifically towards sex, but we've put that within.
Well, you got 3 kids and a 4th one on the way.
Yeah, I know.
You ought to teach.
I live it, baby. I live it.
There's those who live it and those who talk about it. I don't know, man. That needs to be on the cutting room floor on that one, baby. Here's the thing. We have not done that because when you're meeting in a school and you do a big sex series, I know some churches that got kicked out of there. So add a little intelligence to what you're doing. I mean, that's always nice. And I know churches that have exploded with those and have met in the school. Just make sure you've got some connection there so that you're not violating where you're staying and people feel abused by that. But an attention grabber is huge. What's the best attention grabber you had?
It was probably a series. It's going to be in your jump drives that you get as a part of your resources from the conference. But we did a series.
Oh, time out. Very good. They haven't gotten the jump drives yet?
Have you guys gotten that?
You're getting the best sermon series from all the speakers up here. Yeah. Mine is one of yours, so it's really going to be good stuff.
The best series that we've done is probably a series called Happily Ever After. And in our community, we have a lot of young families that have a lot of financial issues, and because of those financial issues, they have a lot of family issues. Surprise, surprise. And so we did a whole series on relationships. And let me tell you, man, that just absolutely took off. We went through the Song of Solomon. We talked about attraction. We talked about sex.
See,
we talked about
you did
conflict.
talk about sex.
Oh, yeah, baby. I had a bed up on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is an old Ed Young trick. I had a bed up on stage, and I was like, guys, you probably think this is freaky to have a bed on stage. How weird is that? Now, we all want to take the bed out of church. And I said, well, what we're going to do for the next 3 weeks is we're going to bring the bed back into church, and we're going to talk about what the Bible has to say about our sexuality. And let me tell you, you do that, that's an instant attention grabber. Because when I start talking about, hey guys, that people who get divorced, the first steps that they have towards conflict is a loss of sexual intimacy. All of a sudden, you see some people who are like, yeah, I never thought we'd get to that point, but that's like, honey, that's me and you. So that was an instant attention grabber for some people. Now, especially with the way the economy is, we as churches are afraid to talk about money. Okay, now, talk about felt need.
Yep.
With the estate, with how well Dave Ramsey is doing, how well is Dave Ramsey doing because of the needs of our economy and because of our own impression of what the American dream is.
Put a parenthesis there. I want to say something. Dave Ramsey. If you go to lifechurch.tv, you can find him teaching what we're doing. Yeah. I'm doing a series called Stressed, and the 2 S's at the end have $sign, starts next week.
Nice.
And I'm ripping Dave Ramsey, and Dave Ramsey and I are going to team teach the series. He didn't know it, but you're allowed to do that, guys.
I've already done that. Oh, no.
I know. Way to go. But anyway, some of y'all haven't, not as cool as this guy over here, and haven't done that yet. But no,
people want to hear about money, don't they? They
do.
Want to.
And if you'll talk about, and here's the thing, when you preach on money and it's just about giving, you deserve that rap.
Right.
You got to talk to people about how to budget, how to get out of debt, how money all belongs to God anyway, and that type of thing. Because if you're just saying give, they do need to. Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart is also. But they will react and go, wait a minute, all you want is my money. And I always say this, God's a whole lot more aggressive than that. He wants all of you.
Yeah.
Have you said that too?
And here's another thing. This isn't on the notes, but not only do you want an attention grabber on your marketing piece, you want an attention grabber immediately when they come through the door. Isn't it true that marketing is all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? You're giving an impression of who you are or maybe even who you aren't. And so if you send out a good mailing piece, make sure that you back that up and that you actually deliver. Because
Yeah.
a lot of churches are famous for over-promising and under-delivering.
And that's probably the biggest thing that happens with mailers is you
Yeah.
look better, way better than you really are.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got this really diverse mailer and you walk into your church and you're all lily white, you know. So that kind of sucks.
So we did a money
Oops,
series called
did I
Back
tell you
in
I'm from
Black.
New Jersey? Yeah.
We did a money series called Back in Black.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is
and
it
the
good? Oh,
band played Back in Black.
Babe, I need to do that.
You know, and I mean, there were a lot of people, our target group, there were some people who left the church, thanks for the seat, you know, and there's some people, and yet our target group sat there and literally immediately, our target group sat there and they were like, I think I can come to church. We had people like stand up during the song, they were like, yeah! So that was pretty cool.
When we did You Give Love a Bad Name, Bon Jovi,
Yeah.
we had people leave. I don't know why, but I thought it was a great song.
Yeah, that's on the oldies station, isn't it?
Jeez.
Was that by the Beatles or?
You know, dude, I've got a Jeep and I've got an ornament on it that needs replacing. I'm thinking you got pretty cool hair and it may look good there. That's it.
Do I look like an ornament?
Yeah, you know, when
When are we
I'm
gonna
up
get
here,
to my stuff, man? When are we gonna get to my stuff?
you've been talking the whole
Oh,
time.
my bad.
Really, really. And I'm not even married to you. All right. Yeah, no more. All right, let's jump to servant evangelism.
Okay.
I think that's some of your stuff you want to talk about. We've only got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And although you talk really fast, we're going to have to kind of condense some of your stories.
Sure. I will talk slower now.
So servant evangelism is about bringing value, meeting a need before you ever say come. Tons of ways to do it. You can go to servantevangelism.com. Steve Sjogren has written books upon books upon books. He's the father of servant evangelism. But using that has been amazing for us. The space we create for people to remember, and it gets people serving the community, whether it's cutting people's yards, whether it's random acts of kindness, whether it's paying for the person behind you in line. We did that one time. Hey, everybody pay for the person behind you at Publix and just say, God bless you, and leave them a card.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, what I really liked about servant evangelism, especially during the preview process, is if you think about it, we did a 5-week campaign of kindness before we ever even led up to our first preview service. So I want you to think about this for a second. We were generating buzz in our community, and I want you to think about this. Part of the reason why our church got so excited about servant evangelism in the beginning was because this was the first opportunity for us to put boots on the ground. That's your little line that you have in your notes. See, everything that we've talked about so far has been relatively theoretical, has it not? We've been talking about vision, we've been talking about mission, we've been talking about core values. All of that stuff is absolutely necessary. And you're going to stand up in front of your launch team and you're going to talk about all of these different things that need to make up a church. Okay, but now what's so exciting about servant evangelism is that you're not in the practice room anymore. You're not looking at game film anymore. You're not talking about X's and O's anymore. You're putting on your pads, you're going out onto the field, and you're running plays. Your launch team is going out there and they're actually doing something.
Yeah, so you get people out there, get creative. At the bottom of that page there, you've got all types of things to do. Listen, try it. Not everything works. You've got to take some risk. In fact, you ought to have an R&D space in your budget where it's okay to try things that you don't know if they're going to work. One of the problems is once we get going a little bit, suddenly everything looks the same. Every year we do the calendar the same. We do the same type of series. We do the same. Get outside the box, start serving people, start caring and meeting needs, and then you've earned the right to speak to them. And, you know, Ron's talked about that. Instead of having a city build a great church, how about a church building a great city and flipping that thing on its back where people actually discover we care. By the way, if you're in your 20s, you're not in the 20s, are you?
39.
Dude, you're old. The 20-year-olds, there's a sense of spirituality among them that they need to give back bigger than ever before.
Yeah.
They will actually start serving and giving back long before they find Christ. So huge idea there in SE, servant evangelism, connecting and giving people a job to do where they get a chance to do something and receive it. Now, we have had to learn this. We do a lot of water bottle. I can't hand out water bottles anymore. People will not roll down their windows to take them. I walk by and they go, oh my goodness, an ogre, and they keep the window rolling. Or they go like this. I walk up to the car, they go, hello. But we have found ladies get the bottles. They take the ladies, and so I'll carry the bottles with it. Or if we had guys like you, they'd take the bottles from you. So, I mean, just gentle-looking people, kind. Oh, come on. He said stuff to me, and you're not going to laugh at that? Give me a break. How can you get by with that, dude?
Yeah, I don't know.
You look all innocent. Yeah, that little, I'm sorry. Play the card well, dude.
What's great about servant evangelism is this. The church, you know how the church does evangelism? The church does evangelism by shouting at people.
Yeah.
The church does evangelism by talking about all the things that we stand against, don't we? That we stand against abortion, that we stand against homosexuality, and and we need to and then we need to stand against sin.
Yeah, come on, somebody help him.
And we do need to. Am I trying to say that we don't stand against those things? Absolutely not. We do stand against those things. But what I'm saying is that a lot of times what the unchurched hears from us is more of what we stand against, more of what God stands against, and not what God stands for. And when you do servant evangelism, what you begin to do is you begin to allow your actions to speak louder than your words. Absolutely. St. Francis of Assisi, he said what? He said, preach the gospel and when necessary, use words. Now, he also was known to preach the gospel to animals, which is kind of weird. He did. Did you know that?
Why are you looking at me?
That's just freaky.
Yeah.
Why would you preach the gospel to animals? I don't understand that. All dogs go to heaven, that's why. But
well, where did that come from, dude?
I'm not sure. It was the Spirit.
It's just, a little bird flew through your mind and just, hey, all dogs go to heaven. By the way, if all dogs go to heaven,
then why would you need to preach the gospel to animals?
No, I won't say that. Never mind. I just stopped saying what I was going to say. That's impressive. So, if you want to know, I'll tell you later. Anyway, so what we want to do is take a moment now for the big idea.
Oh, can I just share one last story?
Yeah, I guess he's got 4 written pages there. Go ahead, bro.
When we did, there was a time, we really started out our church with this idea, can small acts of kindness done in great love really change the world? Do you believe that? Do you believe that enough to do it? You know what I'm saying? Can a small act done in great love really change your world? Can it change a person's life? Can it really change the trajectory of a community? Can it really change the world that we live in? Does that resonate with you enough for you to mobilize your church to go out and do something like that? A lot of us might agree with that in mind, but not agree with that in heart. Can I read you a story of someone in our church? We were doing a water bottle handout project on the street corner, and a lot of people are skeptical of stuff like that, but can I read you a story of something that happened on one day? This is an email I got after a project that we did one Saturday. This past Saturday, June 21st, my wife and I were visiting friends in your area. As we got off the freeway at Limonite Avenue, we stopped at the traffic light, and we were watching a bunch of people passing out bottles of cold water in the heat of the day. A young man came up to my window and handed me 2 bottles of water and said, "God loves you, this water is for free." I thanked him and we went on our way. The time was 11:10 a.m. About 30 minutes later, I called back home to Ohio to check on my mother's condition as she's been ill for many years. The nursing home told me that she had passed away at 2:10 p.m. that day, which was 11:10 a.m. our time. Now, I just want to thank you and that young man for reminding me about God's love on the moment of my mother's passing. I'll never forget it. And I'll tell the story of God's love sent to me on that day for the rest of my life. Let me tell you, guys, we may think that these are just small seeds that are being planted, but small seeds can turn into big things.
Good stuff. What's that, a laugh line? Let's take big idea, 2 minutes. Write down something that you're going to do different or you're going to start. because of something God's tweaked in your mind. The Holy Spirit's like binged on you in the last hour or so. You want to write something down. And then Jan's going to come out and introduce our next break. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, Al.